Beard.
From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 275 of Fans Talk Pro Wrestling. My name is Garvin. With us tonight is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
And Nick. Say hello, Nick.
Hello, Joe.
And this week we are going to preview WWE Battleground, which airs live this Sunday, July 19th on the WWE Network, which you can get for free, or $9.99 for the rest of us, who has already been paid. After today's Battleground talk, we're going to stick around for another episode of our Squared Circle of Trust members only conversation. Today we're going to talk about some WWE Tough Enough. I think we're all caught up until today, so I was going to spend about 15, 20 minutes to talk about it. The wife is going to join us as well, so that'll be fun.
Hello, wife.
Again, if you aren't subscribing, definitely join us over on patreon.com/fanstalk and become a Squared Circle of Trust member today for all the extra content that we put together, as well as early access to episodes just like this. So, guys, WWE Battleground is this weekend. How excited are you?
It's got some high points. I'm not going to lie. Owen Cena should be a phenomenal match for show. Hopefully we're going to get some diva action, and then Rollins versus Lesnar should be solid. What are you thinking, Nick?
I'm not that excited. Like you said, there's definitely high points. I'm very interested in the Owen Cena rubber match. I'm interested in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship picture. And aside from that, nothing's really piquing my interest all that much. Reigns versus Wyatt, somewhat, but I don't know. Not to the degree that I'm excited about the two matches I already named. Like, that match would not get me to buy Battleground, or buy the network to watch Battleground, which I realize I don't necessarily have to do, but you know what I mean. It's not a pay-per-view seller. And the rest of the matches, Barrett versus Truth should be entertaining, but it's
with you?
Absolutely nothing, because it'll be a good match. But the feud is already dragged on. It should have been over already.
Yeah.
Orton versus Sheamus, bleh. Big guy versus biggest athlete versus big mouth. Okay, whatever. It's just, there's a lot of meh content on this card, and it feels like it's dragging it down to me.
See, I know we say that a lot, and we could look at this card and go, that's exactly it. But you know what? It's those pay-per-views that we were like, oh my god, that was the best pay-per-view ever.
Yeah,
that seems to be the more common thing. I know, but previous shows were like, oh god, it's going to be Capital Punishment, for fuck's sake. Usually ends up doing really well. Like, we're like, oh my god, it was Capital Punishment, it was the best pay-per-view ever. No, we're not internet smart marks, blah, blah.
Battleground's never been that since its inception. I don't think this year's going to change.
It's got potential.
And it does have Lesnar.
It does.
There's always that too. So let's go ahead and go match by match. First, I'll read the full card as it stands right now, and then we'll talk about each match. So first off, in the kickoff, it's King Barrett versus King Truth for the King of the Ring crown.
Excuse you, King what's up?
Whatever. Randy Orton versus Sheamus. John Cena versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. Championship. Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. New Day versus PTP for the Tag Team Championships. Ryback versus Miz versus Big Show for the IC Championship. And Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar in the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, start off with the kickoff. King Barrett versus King What's Up. Who you got?
I'm going with King Barrett because I don't think they have anything else for him. And really, for him to lose it to R-Truth, I can't see it. I really can't see it.
You didn't see him losing the IC belt to R-Truth, but Truth kept walking away with it.
I think lose it.
Yeah, but he didn't have it. I think Truth is going to walk out with the win here. Barrett, the crown hasn't done anything for Barrett. It's just giving him another garbage gimmick to run with. And if you're going to have a garbage gimmick, put it on somebody that they don't really use, who literally cannot be hurt by this. I think that's the way they're going to go. I think King What's Up is going to become the new King of the Ring.
It's just so disappointing.
Have you been watching Barrett lately?
I'm not saying I liked the King Barrett gimmick. I, in fact, strongly dislike it and think Bad News Barrett, with the bullhammer is the best thing he had going for him. And it was entertaining. I don't think... everybody knows I am not an R-Truth fan, and maybe that's where all this is coming from. Coming out with the paper crown, and I just think it really puts Truth in a bad position to ever be elevated again. Like, he is the Santino at this point, and that's a bummer. Nobody needs to be in that role. Like, I would love for them to actually take him seriously, but they're not. If they actually took him seriously, Truth would have won the tournament, but he wasn't even freaking in it.
Best case scenario, I think, is if Truth wins, we get the return of Paranoid Delusional Truth, and we get a Mad King gimmick.
That would be pretty cool. Agreed.
At least that would be something.
So, Blue is pointing out in a live chat that this is Barrett's career so far in WWE. He gets put into, a role that, you would expect some positive energy coming out of, like, Intercontinental Champion or U.S. Champion or now King of the Ring. And they just fail to book him in a positive way for some reason. But overall, picks from the live chat, it seems like everyone is behind King What's Up.
What's Up
to win. Joe, who are you going with?
Barrett.
Okay. I am also going to go with King Barrett. So, okay. Next up, let's go ahead and kind of break away from what is officially on the card. Let's talk a little bit about what happened last night, because it definitely seemed to set up a very, very interesting match this week, and that was the debut of Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. So,
Sasha?
Sasha.
Sasha.
All right, Booker T.
So this is how it looked to me after I watched it. I'm curious what you guys thought as well, but did it seem like they were pretty much just setting up a triple threat trios tag match between these three teams? So Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team Paige / NXT?
Yep.
Not necessarily. I think we might still get a triple threat Divas match, but just singles for the Divas title. I can only see, I don't see them having that big old trios match. I see a lot of backup outside so that the Bellas can't win with the numbers game anymore. But I still think if we do get a Divas title match, it's going to be singles.
I don't know about that. I think they're really setting up this 3-on-3 thing to really introduce the NXT additions to the main roster, and then we'll get action leading forth from that. We'll get a lot more singles matches, but I don't think it's gonna be a singles match at the pay-per-view.
See, I think we're gonna get that showcase as we move on from Battleground. Because it's not like these girls are new to the audience anymore. Like, everybody knows what NXT is. Everybody knows who's up and coming in NXT now. So, having them participate in a match just less than 1 week away from their debut, I don't think that's necessarily as crucial anymore. So I think they can get away with just having Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte, along with the others, just kind of being back up on the outside, have some scrums going on outside, but still just have the main three players that we've had contending for the title, at least for the moment.
Overall, does this move, as far as bringing up the three that they did, does that move make the Divas division more interesting for you guys?
Definitely. I mean, you're adding a whole mix of competitors. How is that not going to help? You're adding a lot of competition to a division that only had a few players and has only had a few players for a very long time.
Yeah, for sure. These three are absolutely on top of their game in NXT, and they can walk right in and compete at the top level of the Divas division right now. Which I expect they will be doing very soon. I expect that we're going to see at some point Sasha Banks versus Nikki, champion versus champion. I don't know how much longer Sasha will be a champion, for the foreseeable future, but for the moment, the NXT champion took the disrespect that the Divas champion offered her and stood up for herself, smacked Nikki down, and eventually made her tap out to the bank statement. So I definitely think we're going to be getting stuff moving forward from there. And I doubt Becky Lynch and Charlotte will disappoint in any way and fail to live up to that standard. It's just as far as this match goes, I think they're going to be on the outside, but they'll definitely be on the inside very, very soon. And it's going to be awesome to watch.
Ishmael's throwing out the idea of a Divas title battle royal at Battleground. Do you like that idea? Maybe just put all 9 of them in the ring together?
That's too
No. That would completely defeat the purpose of putting them together in their little factions. Especially not even a week out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Way too soon.
All right, so before we continue on with Battleground, one of the things that seemed to be rumored, or at least really hoped for by Reddit or wherever you guys read and write, there definitely seemed to be this interest in having 4 divas called up from NXT, the 3 that we got, as well as Bayley. What do you think this means for Bayley? Do you think it was a bad move not calling Bayley up, or do you think this is them potentially passing the torch to Bayley in NXT?
I think this is it's definitely getting some of the competition away from Bayley. I think they're majorly thinning out the women's division on NXT. Granted, they haven't actually said these girls are never coming back to NXT, but in the near future, we're going to see them completely leave. I feel that this is going to open the door for Bayley, because if she's ever going to be the NXT Women's Champion, it's going to be in the next couple months.
Yeah, and actually, just real quick correction. I totally forgot. Bayley is hurt. She has an injured hand, so that's probably has a lot to do with it as well.
I wouldn't have brought her up either way.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, obviously, Bayley is injured, and even if she wasn't, I don't think she'd be getting that nod right now. I think that'd be Emma, actually. Just because she came down for a reason, and that's to restock the division. And to reinvent herself as well. And Bayley's not necessarily in a good spot right now to win the title on her own, I guess. The way her character is, it makes a lot more sense to battle back from adversity and to basically be the underdog. They missed the boat on Bayley versus Charlotte. They missed the boat on Bayley versus Sasha Banks. With the way Emma and Dana Brooke have been running around and mistreating everybody, eventually they're going to move on to Bayley when she gets back. And Bayley's already got a grievance. Emma broke her hand. So if Emma becomes champion in Bayley's absence while she's recovering, that gives Bayley all the motivation in the world to take that title from her. So personally, that's how I see that going down. I think Emma's going to win, and then Bayley's going to take it.
It's not going to be like Dana Brooke or anybody like that?
No, Dana's far too green for that. Carmella and Alexa Bliss, those are the only 2 divas I can think of that are on TV, and they're involved with each other and the tag team title scene. I don't see them going anywhere near the women's title anytime soon.
That's pretty much all the women. That's where I think they definitely need to restock, for lack of a better term, the women's division in NXT.
Yeah, they've got...
Oh, they're set. They're totally set to do that.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of girls working live shows right now.
So you've got Carmella, you've got Alexa Bliss, you've got Emma, and whatever her face is, I forget.
Right, but you need more.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think for the time being, you've got enough to get things started.
Yeah, Devin Taylor's working live shows.
True.
Lena Fanene, I think her name is. She's one of the Anawai clan.
Martin.
So yeah, she's in there, and there's a bunch of others. That
I'm glad you caught that reference, Garvin.
Yeah, no, that's where my mind went instantly as well.
I didn't even hear the reference, so
I went Martin because you said Renee or something like that. Fanene, and it sounds like Shenane.
Yeah, you're not familiar with Martin
Lawrence's TV show, Martin?
No. Oh, yeah, Jessie McKay also. Yeah, she's actually been on NXT as well, so yeah, we should be seeing a lot more of her too.
Man, Nick just no selling. All right. So, okay, cool. Well, let's move on. Randy Orton versus Sheamus.
Why? Sorry.
We're all thinking it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this match so many freaking times. Do we need to see it again? Apparently WWE thinks so.
Randy Orton despises change.
One more match. I've got no interest in this match whatsoever. Because if Randy wins, you weaken Sheamus. And if Sheamus wins, big deal. Doesn't matter. He's still got the briefcase. That's the only thing he matters about. And frankly, I don't give a shit. I'm a bad wrestling fan for this. I don't care.
Yeah, Beanbags has been calling people out lately in Facebook. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, there's a lot of the audience that is okay with this because these are big names. These are the stars that you go see, especially Orton, especially Sheamus. So yeah, on one hand, I can see why WWE keeps doing this, but it really shows a lack of creativity.
Yeah, this is going to be my bathroom break. If I only have one, this is absolutely going to be it. I think Orton's going to win because they've been doing... he hasn't had anything going on for him lately. And, I mean, for whatever reason, they've got to keep Orton winning. And Sheamus has the Money in the Bank curse now. So, I mean, he got his time in the sun with Dolph Ziggler. Now it's time to start paying his dues and start jobbing out to everybody and his brothers. So, I think Orton's going to walk out with a win here.
Joe, who are you going with?
I'm going with Orton because RKO out of nowhere.
Okay. Seems like the live chat is also going with Orton. I am going to go with Sheamus. All right. Next up, John Cena versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. Championship. Does Kevin Owens finally dethrone John Cena?
Yes.
He has to, right?
No, he doesn't have to.
We all think he's going to, right?
Which means he's not, but...
I mean, what could possibly be gained from Cena holding on to the belt here? Owens could still go on and be magnificent even if he loses this match, but who else is there?
I can only imagine that WWE is reading the feedback that we've been providing them, whether it's on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, that we are actually enjoying John Cena's matches again. So because of that, I could definitely see them looking at that as praise and praise enough to keep the title on Cena so that they can continue to milk as much out of this as possible. I mean, we're finally almost all in, we're almost all unanimous that we are enjoying these matches. We might not enjoy the fact that it's John Cena or the fact that John Cena is the one holding the title, but the fact that he's delivering so much and so well, and working so well with these guys that I could easily see them having him retain and continue.
You talk about them milking the success of these matches. They've been doing that. That cow is running dry.
Right, and we have Orton versus Sheamus again.
Dust is forming inside the cow as we speak. Cena, to take nothing away from the man, I've been saying it for a while now. I'm incredibly glad that he's expanding his repertoire and learning, even at this stage in his career. But those matches aren't as good as they are because of Cena. He's managing to work up to the other guy's level. We're enjoying those matches because of who he's facing. It's because of Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Neville, all those other guys. Even Rusev at this point, which this week on Raw, Rusev really showed what he was made of. Even more so than he has before. That was a new level for him, and I absolutely applaud him for that. But I hope the WWE is aware enough of what our responses actually are, and don't decide to keep going with the Cena reign when there's not much mileage left there.
No, there's not a lot of mileage left there. That doesn't mean that, I think, I'll admit it, Cena's been doing a phenomenal job, and to an extent, it's to who he's facing, but it's not completely. I mean, he's doing. It's easier to swallow because of the new opponents.
If he was facing the same guys right now, but he was still expanding his repertoire, nobody would be nearly as hot about this. And not just because it's the same old guys, but the new stuff that Cena's adding on, he doesn't do it that well.
No, but he's adding a lot, and he is improving. I mean, granted, that Canadian Destroyer blows dick.
Yeah, I mean, quantity versus quality, he's definitely shooting for quantity at this point, not necessarily quality.
And that, to me, that's better. Because we're always complaining about the 5 moves of Doom. You know, we're always complaining he doesn't have a repertoire. Sorry, I pulled a Seth Rollins there.
You're still upset about J&J.
Yeah, he doesn't have a repertoire. He doesn't have this. I am. Shut up! Shut up! He handled that well. But I think that he will improve those moves. For him, okay, finally I'm going to do some shit that I'm not used to doing. I'll work on making it prettier later, but at least I'm showing I'm going to do it. And I appreciate that aspect of it.
Except he's not doing that. Have you seen the springboard stunner? There's literally been no improvement there. In fact, it's been
a month? It's been a month?
He's been using it longer than a month, at least a few, and he's steadily been getting worse. I think he's slowly losing athletic ability as he continues to use that move.
I disagree.
Dude, he just fell all over Cesaro's chest when he hit that move. That was awful.
I'm not saying that he's improving great leaps and bounds, and of course he's fucking it up, but at least he's doing it. When's the last time you gave someone a springboard stunner? You know how hard that is?
2 days ago. It was phenomenal.
And who is it on? Which dog?
Real quick, I just want to point out that we've done quite a bit of criticizing WWE as far as, you know, the terrible historic booking of Barrett and the Randy Orton versus Sheamus match again. It's been run too often. Okay. I don't see how this is any different. John Cena, being like a guy holding a title that we've been tired of seeing him hold the title, that went on for 10 years. So I can't see them just dropping the title to Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens is the guy, is the future. I think they could easily drag this on for another year and think this is the best thing ever. Knowing WWE and how they do things, especially with John Cena.
Right, because Cena makes money.
In fairness, I don't think that's exactly the same.
I talked to Stephanie and she said that this is how they're going
to... Cena versus Owens has a definite endgame in mind. They've been playing up the rubber match, the fact that this is the final match, even though Cena hasn't explicitly stated there will be no more matches if I lose. Orton versus Sheamus, that's very much an Orton thing, where they just keep going again and again and again and again. They did it with Christian, they did it with Del Rio, they've done it with Sheamus. Orton is definitely the constant factor there. Yeah, Cena's held titles for 10 years, and we're tired of seeing him on top, but I don't equate that with Cena versus Owens. Not yet, at any rate. There has to be a lot more matches going on for me to start looking at it that way.
Okay. Well, I think we're all in agreement that Kevin Owens will win. It's the right move. It's the best for business. But I still have it in the back of my mind that, hey, this is WWE. This is what they do. So I would not be surprised if Cena wins. Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Who you got, Joe?
I've got Bray Wyatt. That's stupid. That really is. Reigns is going to win because, well... Man, okay, I'm following my heart on this, and I'm going with Bray. Bray definitely needs the win. He needs to show that he's a force to be reckoned with, and not a great character until he gets to a pay-per-view. He needs the most help with his character at this point, as far to get that oomph going. He's got a great character. He just needs to be taken seriously as a threat, and I don't know. If he doesn't win, it's hard to do that. Like, yeah, this guy can fuck around with me and screw with my head the entire time leading up to a pay-per-view, but I got him then because, well, he just jobs out.
The way I see this going is with Reigns winning, getting the official win. I don't necessarily think this will be the end of things, because if Reigns wins clean, to me, that says this angle is over. And I don't think that's the case. Like it's being said in the live chat, by Blue, I think this will go at least to SummerSlam. I foresee a disqualification win seems kind of likely, because Reigns has been getting his feet under him in this feud, and he's starting to get a handle on Bray's mind games. But Bray still has tricks up his sleeves. Like, he got away from Reigns by hitting him with a lantern. I think Bray will do something similar at Battleground to get himself disqualified. And Reigns will walk away with a win, but not the moral victory. He will not get the last laugh.
All right, some picks from the live chat. We've got, it seems like it's mostly mixed, but Beanbags is definitely saying it has to continue. And I think that's the direction that a lot of people are thinking this is going to go. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know personally, but for now, I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt. But yeah, again, I'm with you guys. All right. New Day versus PTP for the tag team championships. Joe?
I'm going with the New Day, and I will tell you why. Because the New Day needs it. I don't feel that the PTP have had, like, there hasn't been a whole lot of excitement, in my opinion, for PTP with the titles. And they deserve it. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't noted it. It just seems like it's a placeholder until something else comes along. And I think that having New Day with the titles, New Day will it'll be easier for people to get behind other teams. I'm not exactly sure who's the next competitors for them, unless you go with, say, Lucha Dragons. Because I'm trying to think of heel tag teams that would end up going up against PTP after this.
The Ascension?
That's the only one I can come up with.
Yeah, the Ascension is the only heel team that I can think of that would fit into this. But I'm also gonna pick the New Day. The momentum has been very one-sided in PTP's favor, but they've been trading a lot on the popularity of their partner for the 6-man tag matches with Neville and Mark Henry. PTP, I don't think they're going to have a terribly long reign, and I think it's going to end at Battleground when New Day wins, by hook or by crook.
All right, I'm going to go with PTP retaining. I just can't see them pulling the titles off so quickly. They haven't gotten over as much as we probably would have expected, but it is what it is. I think they'll give them a little bit more time, see what they can muster up. I mean, they've given worse champions longer title reigns, so. But New Day continues to kill it. I don't know if you guys have been following Austin Creed's YouTube channel, aka Xavier Woods.
I need to.
It's not great. If you're familiar with like the Let's Play style series, it's pretty good. But yeah, overall, it's funny just to see the, guys like Kofi, or the one that came out this week was it was a tournament. It was a Mortal Kombat tournament between Xavier Woods, Cesaro, I think.
Okay.
Kofi, some other guy.
Wasn't Rusev in there somewhere?
Rusev was involved, and Damian Sandow was the color commentator.
That sounds like magic.
Yeah. Tong Po.
Yeah.
That's what is being said in the live chat as far as who else was involved.
I have no idea who that is.
Well, watch the video and you'll know.
Oh, it was one of the Usos that rounded that out. That's right.
That's
I
what I
remember seeing that.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Well, anyways, I like New Day. I think they can be credible and entertaining without the titles, but eventually, yes, I'm with you guys. I want to see them hold the titles once again. Oh, Tong Po is Rusev. that is what that's his name, his real name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they go by real names for the most part. Damian Sandow, I think that's his real name, but that's what they called him.
That is not his real name.
I don't know. They picked and choose for some reason. Anyways, Ryback versus Miz versus Big Show, IC Championship. Any chance that Ryback drops it?
There's a chance. Not a very good one. I don't see him lose. I don't see him necessarily losing it.
That's not what your pick says.
Yeah, well, I picked. That's an old pick. That was picked like 2 weeks ago.
I'm pretty sure Ryback has a 156 and 2/3% chance of winning this.
Yeah, no argument there. I don't like this feud. Miz has been okay. Big Show, I want him as far away from everything possible. I just cannot stand Big Show, but Ryback for sure needs to retain. That's it.
Idea.
That's all you guys want to talk about for that match?
I think Nick and I had a great idea in which Big Show should stick to commentary or being the Spanish announce team's bodyguard to stop the table from being broken.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep.
I like that idea.
I think they need to find a way to make that happen.
That or he becomes Seth Rollins' manager.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, those two have great chemistry. I specifically remember back when Big Show was full-time authority, he was on commentary for one of Rollins' matches, and he was doing ton of cheerleading, ton of shouting advice from ringside, and I think he worked out in that role really well. So, since Kane's out of commission, since J&J's out of commission, and it doesn't look like Rollins will be turning face anytime soon, I think Big Show would be a great fit.
I do like that idea. All right, so that leads us to the main event, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Pretty confident that everyone is going to be picking Brock Lesnar for this match. I'm gonna start it off by saying I'm not. I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins to win, just because I can't see Seth Rollins losing to his, realistically, the first major threat that he has had for the title. I mean, yeah, you could look at Dean Ambrose. Yeah, you could look at Roman Reigns. But realistically, Brock Lesnar is the pretty much the biggest deal, like the biggest fight that he's had. And while we are used to Lesnar coming in and destroying and winning, I could easily see Seth Rollins weaseling out to retain.
Yeah, that address he made prior to the end of Raw, that's something we haven't seen out of Rollins in a long time. Not since his NXT days, I don't think. That's the most passionate he sounded in a long time. And I can't imagine he would be doing that unless there was a real shot at him beating Lesnar. And they've done so much to bring Lesnar down to something approaching human. Still a beast, still an absolute specimen, the pinnacle of mankind, but he's been reduced from that untouchable level and been made mortal again. So, yeah, I have to think that Rollins is going to do what so many other guys haven't and beat Lesnar. And it looks like he's going to be doing it by himself, which that's a huge nod to Rollins.
Joe, I'm pretty sure you're muted.
Am I?
Oh, there you go.
I mean, unless that was a drop the mic moment, which I would totally take.
I mean, you could. Yeah, I mean, I think you ruined it when you didn't say mic drop.
It was implied.
Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. I have to go with Lesnar. At this point, I mean, how are we going to get the loss? Are we going to get the loss via DQ? Lesnar wins via DQ, a non-title change, I guess is what I'm considering a loss here for sake of discussion. But if Lesnar's not going to walk away with the title, I mean, another J Kane extravaganza.
Why can't Rollins beat him clean?
Because I don't think I think that would really ruin Brock Lesnar going forward.
With the way they've softened him up and made him, he's been beaten on, let's see, twice now, and just since the last pay-per-view.
Right, but how much of that was Rollins? Not much of it. He's been softened up, but it's Lesnar.
Yeah, but they made it clear that
it's the 1 and the 21-1. I don't know. It's just...
at some point, I think somebody's got to beat Lesnar, and the obvious choices have already failed, like your Cena's, your Undertaker's. At this point, I think it's either got to be Rollins or you wait a little while and Roman Reigns does it. And I would much rather have Rollins take it.
I think Reigns is going to do it. It's the only thing they can do with Reigns to get Reigns over. I think to get him seriously over where they wanted him to be before Rollins cashed in. To me, that's what I foresee as the plan. I see Lesnar taking the title and leaving again, or at least attempting to defend it in a different type of match, be it a triple threat or even a fatal 4-way. Like, all right, J&J, Kane, Rollins, bring it, all you guys. 5-man match. Winner gets the title. At that point, you're going to see everything break down. You'll see J&J actually actively trying to get it and fail miserably. But Kane and Rollins, there's another interesting feud, especially if they're fighting over who gets to take on Lesnar.
The next time I see Kane getting into the ring, I think he's going to be wearing the mask. It's going to be long enough that
I think it's going to be concessions, Kane.
It's going to be long enough that he would have had time to really think about his role in the Authority and to really think about what his family means to him and all the things that Ron said at the end of Raw. And there have been a few points where I couldn't have seen Kane coming back, and he did, but Ron's really burned a bridge there. He basically broke Kane's ankle. So, yeah, I don't necessarily see Kane getting into a match on Ron's side there.
Garvin, what say you?
I don't know. I'm still going with Seth Rollins. I think him winning is the best option right now. It is odd that after Lesnar defeated everyone that he went through to then lose to Rollins, it does seem a bit odd. But at the same time, it is Seth Rollins. We have been generally pleased with his work. So yeah, and he is the future, and the future is now.
He is the man. Man will always triumph over beast.
All right, so that is Battleground. Overall, here are our picks. Joe, you're going with Lesnar?
Yes.
Okay. So our picks state that King Barrett will win. Randy Orton will defeat Sheamus. Kevin Owens will be your new U.S. champion. Bray Wyatt will defeat Roman Reigns. New Day will become the new tag team champions. Ryback will defend successfully the IC championship. And Seth Rollins will defeat Brock Lesnar. Out of all that, what are you guys expecting to be the match of the night?
Cena Owens.
Yeah.
Unless there's a very strong potential in the unofficial Bella Bad Paige match.
Can it be Paige Bad Bella?
It could be. Or Paige Bella Bad. It's so bad. I think that one, due to the NXT participants, could really be an over-the-top match of the night. Will it? That's a lot of people in the ring. That is a lot of people. So maybe not. I'm really hoping they give them a nice chunk of time, though, if they do it. Outside of that, it's good for me. It's going to be Cena Owens.
Yeah, I can't really see much more than Cena Owens. It's been my match of the night. The last 2 times it's happened, I don't see that changing.
Yeah, looking at this card, I agree with you guys. Cena versus Owens will most likely be the match of the night. Rollins versus Lesnar will probably also be very good. But everything else is I'm not fully invested in. The tag team title match, maybe I can see being somewhat excited about that. But yeah, everything else is kind of plain. I think that's a good term for it.
A lot of repeat matches going on here.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that, let's go ahead and move on. Don't forget, as you go throughout your week, you could really help us by pledging a few dollars our way over on patreon.com/fanstalk. Every little bit will help to show that you really do appreciate these conversations that we have with you guys each and every week. All right, so what's happening outside of WWE? TNA, I know you guys are...
There's nothing outside of WWE.
Yeah, I know. TNA, go listen to Fans Talk TNA. Nick and I cover the week that was in TNA over there, and it's a fun conversation. Also, Lucha Underground, for those who watch Lucha Underground, the wife and I do a little show called Fans Talk Lucha, which is a lot of fun. But let's talk a little about GFW. GFW is making a lot of noise as of late, whether it's continuing to do some more shows out in minor league baseball fields, or naming divisions that they're going to have. So let's go ahead and talk about it. They're going to have 4 divisions. The global division, which I think is pretty much their world title. You've got your women's division, you've got your tag team division, so all generally normal stuff. And then they've got this next gen title, or next gen division, which is what they're calling something. It's like for up and comers kind of thing. So quite a few people are comparing it to what TNA's X division title is. But yeah, overall thoughts on this, Nick?
It is a pretty standard way to set things up. Jarrett obviously is doing what he did in TNA with that setup. It's just not clear right now whether or not the next gen division will be like the X division, or if it'll be more along the lines of the Legends title, the TV title, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, with some of the talent involved, it should be interesting. I expect Bobby Roode and Magnus will be doing some pretty good stuff in the global division. As far as the next gen division goes, yeah, that's just so open-ended that I don't really know what to expect from that yet. Jarrett's made some official statements saying that comparing it to the X division is kind of disingenuous, because the X division does have a stigma about it. It's usually smaller guys, very aerial, very out of the box stuff. The only thing he said about the next gen division is that, as was already mentioned, it's going to be for up and comers. So I imagine it's going to be very similar to what you see in Japan with the junior heavyweights, who are usually younger guys. There are a few exceptions like Jushin Thunder Liger and such, but usually younger guys like Kushida, who incidentally will be wrestling in the tag team division. Guys like that, like Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley come to mind, guys like that. So yeah, overall, it's looking to be interesting. Just looking for some more parameters, some more concrete things to develop.
Yeah, for me, it's putting the cart before the horse in a lot of ways. I look at how Lucha Underground did their title pictures. It was a lot different. They didn't introduce the Lucha Underground Championship until I want to say maybe like 10 episodes in. That's when it was first, fought for. And then like the Trios Championships, we didn't get that until maybe episode 20 of their first season, of their 39 episode season. So they took a much slower route to crown those champions. They built the stories that are behind each of these competitors. They built the feuds. They built everyone up to be contenders, and then put a title on the line. And GFW is doing the opposite. It's building up these titles as important, but really not doing enough to solidify their roster, or a TV deal.
It's fitting that they do the opposite, because you're talking about two very, very different things.
Oh, sure.
Lucha Underground could afford to do that because the initial product was just so novel to us in the States. And the novelty took them very far before they started introducing the title belts. With GFW, it's everybody from all over the world coming to GFW to compete. Lot of known quantities, like your Bobby Roodes, like your Magnuses, like your, for New Japan fans, your Watanabes, your Kushidas. Chris Sabin's gonna be there. All kinds of named wrestlers. And you gotta give them a reason to be there. So I think it makes sense that they put together the divisions before they really start the TV tapings. Not only for an in-storyline reason for those wrestlers to be there, but also for the audience who would be tuning in to get an idea of what to expect.
I really like how Lucha Underground has done it. But yeah, the big difference here between the two companies is that, like Nick said, I mean, Lucha is a company. It's a self-contained thing. GFW is, it's an alliance, if you will. It's
Almost
got its
a
own
National
titles.
Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Thanks for stepping on me, Nick.
I just
You're welcome.
I just think that it would be. It's like it's like an indie show when I watch it for the first time. So all those Monday night Raw alternative things that we were watching, it's like match after match after match after match with people that I don't really know. Really didn't do much for me because I didn't know who these people were. So I had no real ability to relate to what I was seeing. Lucha Underground didn't really go that route. They went through the process of telling the story and building that up so you knew who was competing for what and why they're competing for that, rather than just match after match after match. Or here's a world title. These four are going to compete for it. You may not know who they are, but they're going to compete for it anyways, and then here's your match. That's how I foresee it happening, and that's not... I don't think that's interesting for me, wrestling fan, TV show fan, or whatever. So I much rather like the Lucha Underground way of doing things. But also, what was also nice about Lucha Underground was that everyone was all there for a similar reason. They were all, they all had, their different skills, their different positives and negatives. But at the end of the day, they were all competing for that shot at the top title. Regardless if it was a female wrestler, a male wrestler, a transgender wrestler, it didn't matter. We had the Mascaritas, the mini guy. He was competing for the title, and I kind of like that they're all trying to be that top guy. And I would much rather a slow process to build your story and build your roster than this. Hey, this is the standard that was set in the 70s and 60s. So this is what we're going to do now.
Raw Alternative is what would be happening if all of these companies were sending guys to compete and no GFW umbrella existed. GFW is going to be, again, that umbrella, that central, not authority, but that central brand in which everybody competes. There's going to be a purpose. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more indie style stuff going on just because you do have big indie names like the Young Bucks competing. But again, it's not like Raw Alternative where if you go to those shows religiously, you know who it is. But if you're just watching for the first time, you have no clue. There's going to be a lot of known talent there at GFW. Just look at the roster. You can maybe name on just one hand the guys you don't recognize from something. From TNA, from past WWE, from ROH, from New Japan.
Sure. But I know those stories from TNA, or I know those stories from New Japan. I don't know why they're in GFW and why they're fighting for the top title in GFW or the tag team title.
Yeah, that's why they're setting up the reasons for them to fight in beforehand. Not individual stories, but they're setting up titles. They are doing house shows right now where you do have a little bit of opportunity to build up those rivalries. Right now, Eric Young's stolen the King of the Mountain title from Jeff Jarrett. So that's a story right there. One which I expect will be very central to GFW.
Right.
So they are giving people reasons to tune in. It's just, with things like Lucha Underground, you really can't compare that because it's just two completely separate.
Oh, sure. No.
Entities.
I mean, yeah, it's two different types of ways about doing it, but I'm just pointing out what I do like about Lucha Underground and how they tell their stories. And to me, that's much more interesting than just, wrestling match after wrestling match.
Sure, that's fair.
All right. The last bit of GFW news, it's more of like an observation, but we're very well aware that Jeff Jarrett has been booking these traveling shows at minor league baseball stadiums, and pretty much every picture that has come out shows a pretty much mostly empty stadium, maybe 100 people there if they're lucky. So there was a lot of positive feedback initially when this was first announced, and there was a lot of hype going into this. Now we're a year later, and he's finally traveling around, and he's bringing in big names as far as the indie scene go. But for some reason, no fans are showing up. Do you think it's a problem with where he's booking the shows, or do you think that realistically no one is interested in another Jeff Jarrett promotion?
To me, And the venue is a big deal. The fact that the crowd can't necessarily connect with the wrestlers because that ring is a distance away when they set up in these baseball stadiums. I mean, I know they're doing it for visibility if they were to fill those seats, but come on. I have never seen a stadium fill up with people to watch wrestling, unless it was a pay-per-view at a football stadium / baseball stadium. Then it's like WWE pay-per-view, then it makes more sense. But a promotion just starting out, it's tough. I know, was it PWO? Used to do wrestling shows. They do 1 or 2 in a stadium like that, but it's a poor venue. I get it's summer. You don't have to pay for air conditioning, but damn, dude, the fans really can't connect, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the venue, the location. The stadiums that are being booked are occupied by minor league baseball teams, and not even AAA, like single A, double A, like really small. And I don't know how well these shows are being advertised. I haven't seen a thing about that. With the pictures, it's a little bit misleading because what I've heard is that one side of the stadium just isn't offered for seating, which makes sense because it would make sense because baseball stadiums are just terrible venues for wrestling. But yeah, with the ring being set up in the middle of the baseball diamond, that kind of negates any opportunity you could have to make that better. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a knock against GFW, or at least its drawing potential. It's just they're kind of going to shitty locations. Yeah. So you're gonna get a subpar sized audience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think overall it has a lot to do with location. If he was to take GFW and put them into, a small hall or arena, I think they would probably have a much better turnout. But yeah, it does seem like for some reason Jeff Jarrett loves these outdoor stadium baseball field shows, and not many fans agree. But he keeps booking them for whatever reason. I mean, like TNA was doing this for a little while, and not many people were showing up just because of the venue. And yeah, there are no like front row seats. At best, you're a good 20, 30 feet away from the edge of the ring. So yeah, just rough.
Yeah, that makes me question Jarrett's judgment there, because he has to have seen what TNA was doing. Like, he was there when TNA first started doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he wouldn't have learned from that.
Yeah, if they decided to hit venues like they had, like TNA had been when they started touring, like in Detroit, they hit the Fillmore, which is a smaller. It gives that Hammerstein Ballroom feel,
right?
Things like that, I think, would do much better for them than baseball stadiums. It's rough. It's so rough. And get the fans right up and close. I don't care if they were start doing a bingo hall. Not to ECW this thing, but I mean a place where like a local indie fed would be, and they just did it and brought bigger names. You will draw people in. To me that approach could work. It could work to build up a nice raucous crowd.
Yeah. Well, look at even places like the Agora in Cleveland when we went to see NXT there, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that would be a perfect venue for TNA or GFW to go to.
Yep. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Although, it's summer, they should have some type of air conditioning or thing. But,
I agree. That's Cleveland for you.
But yeah, no, I mean that would be perfect for them. I would venture forth to go see if it was a place like that. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
baseball diamond, no way.
Yeah, well, baseball diamond, and like for me, like that, the closest one was the Lake County Captains, which is a good hour and a half, 2 hours away from me. So yeah, a lot of these minor league teams are not in bigger cities; they're like out in the country. So I don't know. All right, well, that was the week that was in pro wrestling. Let's go ahead and round it up with win-fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job, any job
And fail
is to fucking get paid.
of the week. Joe, what was your win of the week?
My win of the week was the debut of the NXT talent in on the main roster of the WWE. Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Charlotte. Fantastic. Very excited for what's going to come for the women's division. I hate the Divas division. So NXT did it right. It's the women's division. They're women. They're not diva. But no, I'm very excited for that division. More from that would be fantastic.
Nick, your win?
I'm going to echo that Divas debut. Long overdue, in my opinion. Also, the way they set up Neville versus Stardust. I really like that superhero, supervillain angle that they're booking. They've been doing that for a while since Neville debuted on the main roster. And they've kind of been teasing it with Stardust, between his backstage ramblings and his ongoing feud with Stephen Amell, which hasn't dropped if you've been following his Twitter account. He had like this little checklist of names. He crossed out Neville, and underneath that was the Green Arrow. So hopefully that still goes on. But yeah, just the way that they're booking it like it's a comic book, even with the graphic, I really enjoyed that. So please give us more of that.
All right, wins from the live chat. We've got the Divas takeover on Raw. We've also got EC3's win and overall him running Impact this week. But yeah, lots of love for the Divas as far as the NXT call-ups. Also some love for Rusev and Pentagon Jr. in the in Lucha Underground. Fails. What's your fail of the week, Joe?
My fail of the week is the continuation of King Barrett and King What's Up. I just really don't want to see it. I would watch Sheamus vs. Orton 3 times over to not see that.
You're gross.
Yeah, well.
Nick, your fail.
I'm going to give my fail to the NXT Divas debut. And that's because it was done in the most ham-fisted manner possible. With Stephanie McMahon coming out and basically assigning teams. Like, this is an elementary school PE session. It should have been a lot more organic. It should have been Paige going to NXT to find backup. When Sasha Banks came up, it should have been Naomi coming out and saying that, well, if Paige is going to go recruit, so am I. Here's my backup. Instead, you had to have the Authority butting into something that the Authority has no business butting into. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon is a woman, and she's technically in charge of the Divas division.
And doing what's best for business.
Yeah, I mean, she's in charge of the whole company, so focus on running that and not micromanaging the Divas.
But if she doesn't do it, who will?
The Divas.
They haven't.
Paige should have been doing this a long time ago. She struck out in the main roster locker room, so she should have gone to NXT, where she came from.
Agreed. That's where the story looked like it was going. Them doing it this way is odd, at best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha are up there. They belong there. The Divas division has desperately needed something new, but do it in a way that makes sense. Have the bad people that do bad things stick to doing bad things, not doing things that everybody wants. It's the constant complaint that we got with Triple H, the way that they keep flip-flopping back and forth between face and heel, trying to play both sides to get that face reaction. And it's dumb. It doesn't make sense. Just let it happen organically.
I think it needed a push, and if they're going to keep Stephanie off TV or really restrict her and not make her so much as far as the heel goes, but use her more as just a general authority figure, I think this is the right way to go. This is a step in the right direction.
If the Authority is going to be an actual authority and an impartial, unbiased authority, then sure. But that's not what's happening.
Maybe they're starting to go that way, and there might be a Stephanie versus Triple H vibe go on later on, where she's trying to run the company. She's pulling a Jack Tunney, and he's trying to pull a Vince McMahon, character-wise.
That would just be shifting the attention back on them, where it shouldn't be, though.
Well, I agree with that, but just throwing out ideas, man. Jesus. Calm down.
You're wrong, Joe.
Yeah.
Fails from the live chat. We've got the Ziggler-Lana storyline. NXT showing replays like SmackDown and Superstars. That's not why people watch NXT. I think Beanbags is talking about the fact that they replayed Beast in the Middle East, the Owens Balor match.
No, whoa. Not Beast in the Middle East.
I'm sorry.
That'll be when Sami Zayn comes back and has his match there.
That sounds so much better, though, doesn't it? That's what I've been saying in my head for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's got a ring to it.
It's got something.
Sasha Banks not bringing the NXT Women's Championship onto Raw. And the return of Dixie.
Boo. Dixie coming back is great.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and close up the free portion of tonight's conversation. Anything else you guys want to say before we jump over into our squared circle of trust?
Nope.
Okay, cool. All right, and that's the end of the free portion of tonight's conversation. Once again, you can join us over on patreon.com/fans talk for bonus content, early access to episodes just like this. Make sure you join the ongoing discussion that happens on our YouTube channel. Search for FTPW275 and see what others are adding to tonight's conversation. Again, we're going to be doing a little bit of bonus content for our Patreon subscribers. So if you are subscribed, thank you. You will get that very soon. Everyone else, definitely lend us a few dollars. We will give you great content. That's what we do. See, it's an even trade. All right, that's it. We will see you next Tuesday. Later. And we're back. Hello, everyone. We are here doing some little bonus content for you guys. Everyone who is on the Patreon side, thank you for helping us out. Definitely appreciate all of your support. You've stuck through. I know we kind of went quiet the last month or so as far as extra content goes, but we're back and we're going to be doing this a lot more often, which is awesome. Hopefully this is awesome. For you. It's awesome for us. Yeah. So, all right. This is directly after FTPW275. We just did the WWE Battleground kickoff show, our little pay-per-view preview. But one thing I wanted to talk about a little was WWE Tough Enough. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this little bonus episode. So, Joe is here. Nick is here. My wife is here as well. And we all have been watching Tough Enough. So let's just go right into it. What's your thoughts so far?
First couple seasons were much better. I don't like the live show aspect. I hate to start out with a negative here, but it's a pretty big one for me. That really sets the vibe of the show.
Yeah, but seeing Hulk Hogan clap for 2 straight minutes, that's pretty cool, right?
No. In fact, the only clapping that should be done is when he leaves.
Oh, I see.
I don't feel the judges are actually contributing anything. And I know they're judges and not trainers or anything like that, but okay, so anyway, my big complaint is that the voting has to be done before that episode is done being recorded. And I understand it is a live show, and maybe that's part of the feeling that I don't like. It's a live show, but it's on a small set.
Well, and it's a mix of the two. It's not like a live show where they're behind that wall like you have with a Big Brother. It's that they're pre-taping a lot of the content and then they're bringing everyone out on stage.